All right, here we go with another episode of Manly Manners. Today, we've got the SOG Slim Jim. It's an interesting little guy. It's kind of different as far as knives go. It is kind of disappointing, actually. We'll get into that in a little while. But for right now, let me show you the upsides of this knife. It's got the deep carry clip on it, and as you can see, you can carry this thing pretty far down into your pocket because the clip comes up higher than the handle when it's in your pocket. So that's pretty nice. You know, there's no knife handle pieces sticking out of your pocket. It's got this little lock on it so that when it's in your pocket, it won't come open, or it won't ever come open on accident. I did have before I flipped the clip around because I didn't like the way it carried on this side. It came open on me a couple of times, and it was in my pocket sitting like that. So I got in the habit pretty quickly of keeping that lock on. So the first thing about this knife that I don't like is that it's spring assisted and it doesn't work most of the time. It's pretty hard to push that open right there. It's got a lot of tension on it, and when it does open, it doesn't open itself with enough power to latch closed here. Now maybe I'm doing something wrong on it, but unless you get that little flick in there, it doesn't open by itself, and that's really annoying because I very much like one-handed open knives like my Benchmade. That knife to me is one of the best for one-handed opening. See, it doesn't take a lot, but you just got to get that little bit of a flick to it to get it to open properly. Quite annoying. The button that you use to flick this knife open with, I had a lot of trouble with it coming undone. It's got a male and a female end in the center here. They thread together. They kept coming off. They would fall way down in the deep crevice of my pocket, and I go to pull my knife out to use it for something, and there my button would be gone. And there's no way to open this knife if that button is gone. So that got pretty annoying. It was easily fixed with a little bit of blue Loctite, just in case I ever, for some reason, needed to take it apart rather than red Loctite. The material that the blade is made of, it's pretty cheap, really. It doesn't hold up very well. My tip is bent. My blade is chipped. My blade is bent. As I've stated before, I am terrible at being able to get an edge back on a knife. So using a stone is I can't do it. It just doesn't work out for me. For some reason, stones and I don't agree. I can never use them right. So I did get an edge put back on this. So that's saying something about how soft this metal is. If I can get an edge put back on it, it's pretty soft, forgiving material. I stopped using it when the blade it chipped several times in one day, and I realized at that point that the steel was just it wasn't acceptable for what I was using it for. I run my knives through the ringer. I pry with them, I poke with them, I stab, I bang on things with them. Things that a knife shouldn't do, but I kind of expect it to hold up regardless of not being used just to cut something with. This is kind of an all-around tool for me, a knife anyway. So, not a terrible thing if you're okay with sharpening your knife every other day. But I would prefer to, get a couple of days, even a week's use out of it before I have to tune it back up. The knife is not comfortable. You can see here that the right in this area, these little guys here, that's how they get this knife so thin. The sidewalls on this, they hurt when you try and grab a hold of this knife and put some pressure on something. Whether it's forcefully cutting or what have you, it hurts. Look, you can even see there on my fingers, it's left marks. It's not very comfortable. So I guess that's one of the trade-offs for this knife being so thin. I measured it with my digital calipers earlier, and it was just about 5 millimeters. It was 5.04, I think. So it was kind of cool when I bought it. It's so thin. I mean, they call it the Slim Jim. It's even kind of a neat name. Yeah, it's thin, but it never really helped me out at all. Maybe if it was thinner this way, if it was only, maybe that deep, that would be kind of neat because it would take up less room in your pocket. But, being thin that way is what drew me in to buy the thing in the first place, and it's really not all that helpful. This knife, it really fell flat for me. I do like the SOG brand. They do make some very nice fixed blade knives, even folding knives, all kinds of different multi-tools and other accessories, like tomahawks, things of that nature. But this Slim Jim, it really fell flat. Now, they do make an XL version of this, and it's longer. The handle is longer, and therefore I believe the blade is longer as well. I didn't look into that too much just because I didn't like this one, and all that one is a bigger version, so I'm not going to get the XL just to be disappointed all over again. I gotta say, I wouldn't recommend buying this. If you like tuning your knives all the time, you like coming home from work and sharpening the knife, then yeah, maybe it's a little more for you, because that was one of the big things that turned me away, was this blade just being, it's not a good material, at least not for what I was using it for. Maybe if you use a knife a little less than I do, it would be better for you. It's also got this loop that I never tried to put a lanyard through. I never use that because I'm not a big lanyard guy. I don't put lanyards on there. I guess it's if you wanted to carry it around your neck or something. I've seen people carry neck knives, but that was just never very useful for me. This has also got an adjustable retention on it. That might help with the opening situation that I have. The only problem with that is I found that once I loosened this up to get the knife to open itself, then the blade would move around between the two halves of the handle. It would get very loose in there, because this is the main pivot point of the blade. It would get really loose, and that drove me nuts even more so than it not opening properly. All right, so that was my review of the SOG Slim Jim. Again, like I said, very let down by that. Saw it in Ace Hardware one day while I was in there getting some other stuff, and I thought, wow, man, look how thin that knife is. That is so cool. I have to have it. So I was thinking about the next video I'm going to put out is probably going to explain why I named the channel Manly Manners. It's just kind of a thing that I came up with when I decided what I wanted this channel to be called. Kind of not really a story, but just, interesting. I have some other stuff that I'm going to do review videos on. I have one more SOG that was in my everyday carry and didn't perform the way I wanted it to, so took it out. I have a key bar, and I use that thing every day, so I'll be doing a video on that. I also have a Spyderco. I'll have to look up the model on it. that went through my EDC. You know, I have all kinds of different things that I use, multi-tools and such, so I'll be doing review videos on those. If you like this video, of course, I have to put my own little blip in here. If you like this video, go down and hit the like button. If you want to see more review videos on different things, put a comment and let me know what kind of things you want to see me do a review on, or you know, whatever kind of content you want to see. I'm sure I can manage that. I'm just trying to start to get into YouTube because I need a hobby. I get home from work and I don't do a whole lot. I have started dabbling in saltwater fishing, which is something I'm really not used to, so I'm sure I'll do a video on that. I've got all different kinds of little gadgets and things. That's kind of what excites me. You know, I get on Amazon and see some little unique gadget of some sort and think, man, I've got to get me one of those. So I'll review whatever you guys want. I'll make whatever kind of videos you guys want. Just be sure to hit subscribe and give it a like, and we'll see you on the next Manly Manners.